Hey there, and welcome to HisTime365. I'm so glad you're here for day 81 of our 365-day journey through the Bible. Today, we'll look at 1 Samuel 26 through 28, and I'll walk you through what happens, what it means, and why it matters. I'll share a summary and some insights to help you see the big picture and connect with the heart of the Scripture. During your quiet time, I encourage you to read today's lesson in a Bible translation that speaks to you best. Now, grab a quiet moment, take a deep breath, and let's spend a few minutes giving God His time. The pursuit of peace amidst uncertainty. Have you ever felt like you were being pursued or trapped in a situation where the weight of others' expectations loomed heavy over you? The story of David and Saul in 1 Samuel 26 through 28 beautifully illustrates the struggle for peace in the midst of turmoil, revealing how our decisions and actions can lead us closer to God or further away. In chapter 26, we find David once again on the run from King Saul. Despite being anointed to be king, David's life is filled with danger and uncertainty. Saul, driven by jealousy and fear, seeks to put an end to David. One night, David and his trusted companion Abishai sneak into Saul's camp while he sleeps. They find Saul lying there, vulnerable and defenseless, surrounded by his soldiers. Abishai, eager to end their troubles, suggests they should take Saul's life. But David, filled with wisdom and respect for God's anointed, refuses to harm Saul. Instead, he takes Saul's spear and water jug, leaving the camp unnoticed. This moment showcases David's commitment to integrity. "Touch not mine anointed," he reminds Abishai, knowing that God had placed Saul in authority, even if Saul had strayed far from righteousness. 1 Samuel chapter 26, verse 9. The next morning, David calls out to Saul from a distance, holding up the spear and jug as evidence of his mercy. He questions Saul why he pursues him, seeking to demonstrate that he poses no threat. Saul's response is filled with remorse. He acknowledges his wrongdoing, stating, "I have played the fool," 1 Samuel 26:21. Even in his vulnerability, he expresses a longing for peace, a stark contrast to the chaos he has created. As the narrative unfolds, the sense of tension builds. David returns to his stronghold, but soon finds himself in dire straits once again. In chapter 27, fearing for his life, David makes a fateful decision. He chooses to seek refuge in the Philistine territory, living among the very people who were enemies of Israel. He believes this will spare him from Saul's relentless pursuit. This choice reflects our own tendencies when faced with overwhelming stress. Sometimes we seek comfort in places that may not be the best for our spirits, like choosing toxic relationships or unhealthy coping mechanisms. In the Philistine city of Gath, David finds temporary solace, and he seems to thrive. He even gains the trust of King Achish, who allows him to raid Israel's enemies. But in doing so, he must live a lie, pretending to serve Achish while he secretly protects his own people. This duplicity highlights how our choices can lead us away from our true calling. David's longing for safety led him to compromise his values and identity. We often find ourselves in similar situations, whether in jobs that compromise our integrity or friendships that pull us away from our faith. Then we shift gears in chapter 28. King Saul, feeling abandoned by God, seeks guidance from a spiritualist at Endor, desperate for answers. In a time of crisis, he turns to the very thing God had commanded Israel to avoid. It's a powerful reminder of how fear can drive us to make poor choices, especially when we feel isolated or hopeless. We may find ourselves making decisions based on anxiety rather than faith, looking for quick solutions that ultimately lead us astray. The spiritualists successfully conjured the spirit of Samuel, who had previously anointed Saul as king. Samuel delivers a sobering message. Saul's disobedience has led to his downfall. He will soon face defeat, and his reign will come to an end. This encounter reveals the deep consequences of Saul's choices and serves as a stark warning against turning away from God in our moments of despair. In our own lives, we might not consult spiritualists, but how often do we search for guidance in places that lead us away from God? Whether it's relying on social media for validation, seeking comfort in unhealthy habits, or turning to the wrong crowd for advice, we have our own mediums that can distract us from the truth and lead us down harmful paths. Through these chapters, we see a stark contrast between David's reliance on God and Saul's desperate choices. David seeks peace through God's ways, while Saul turns to darkness. This narrative invites us to reflect on where we seek our peace. Are we leaning on God in our trials, or are we turning elsewhere in our search for safety and security? In our daily lives, we can learn from David's willingness to trust in God's timing even when the world seems like it's closing in. It's a call to evaluate our choices and consider whether they align with our values and faith. Perhaps it's about reassessing our work-life balance, prioritizing family time over career ambitions, or even limiting our digital consumption to create space for God's voice. The takeaway from this story is that true peace comes from trusting in God's plan, even when a path seems uncertain. How do you respond to feelings of fear or anxiety in your life? In what ways can you ensure that your choices align with your values and faith? How can we encourage one another to seek God's guidance instead of turning to unhealthy alternatives? What are some practical steps to create a peaceful environment in your home or workplace? Thanks so much for joining me today for HisTime365. Remember, today's reading is 1 Samuel 26 through 28, so be sure to spend some time with those verses during your quiet time. Tomorrow, we'll be diving into 1 Samuel 29 through 31, so feel free to read ahead if you'd like to prepare. If you enjoyed this time together, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so that you never miss a day on this journey. I'll see you right back here tomorrow for day 82. Until then, stay encouraged, and thank you for giving God His time today.